What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me? This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and it is Monday, February 3rd, 2025, year of our Lord. What's up to my friends and family? I appreciate you guys for continuing to tap in. Thank you for tuning in to the greatest morning show on earth. What up to my friends and family? What up? I appreciate y'all. Y'all like the blue or y'all want to go with a different color? We'll switch it up throughout the show. What's up, friends? I see y'all in the chat. I see the Terrible People podcast. That's a heck of a name, big dog. What up, ZMF? Jay Gotti, the Hardaway in the building. Yakar, I see you. Iceberg Slim, what up? Joe Gunn, K Cooper, Manifest Love. What's happening, friends and families? Distinguished gentlemen, Leslie Aaron, legitimately crooked. That's a heck of a name. Yeah, we're going to have to work on our names, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have to make some adjustments, but we are here. First and foremost, I want to say what up. Shout out to all of the bag chasers. Shout out to everybody that's a part of the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. What is the best day to join the bag chasers? Somebody tell me in the chat what the best day is to join the bag chasers. The best day to join the chasers is the beginning of the what? The beginning of the month. All right. Got some really good videos lined up for y'all this month. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, if you're not a part of the bag chasers, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I appreciate y'all. Also, shout out to Roger Bird on Cash App. I appreciate you also. Mike that dude, what's up, my friend? I appreciate you, Mike that dude. I love you. ESDC in the building. What up, though? Trini Life, I appreciate you. Shout out to all of my friends and family on Cash App. I always like to acknowledge the people that support the show. I just want to let y'all know that we never, ever, ever ask for it. We never set goals in the chat for y'all to do it. We just acknowledge the people that support the platform because I just appreciate you being here. So if it is your first time here, you should hit a like for the YouTube algorithm because that is your reasonable service. If you've already been here more than once, you should hit a like for the algorithm because that is your reasonable service. I don't know what that is. Like people, maybe it's on the TV or what. I'm assuming some people got me on the TV and they don't know how to hit a like for the algorithm. That's cool. We're going to give y'all grace. Shout out to my churches, my truck drivers, everybody that's in the building. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you have been here more than once, it is expected for you to subscribe for the channel because we go live every Monday through Friday. And as long as I have breath in my body, I plan on never missing. All right. As long as I got breath in my body, no matter what is happening in my life, everything can be in complete shambles. Everything around you can be burning down. No matter what, you know you're going to be able to come here to the Millionaire Morning Show and be able to get your juice, your drink, and your medicine that's inside of the candy for the day. All right. So Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. We appreciate Tiege Hanley for being a sponsor of the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you do not have your Tiege, make sure you get your Tiege. Shout out to Sister. Shout out to Dragonfly. I see you. What up to all of my ladies? What up to everybody that's holding me down? I appreciate y'all. Y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? We gonna leave a soliloquy or any of my final thoughts towards the end of the show. So we're gonna pivot, right? We still testing things out. We still trying to see exactly what we want to do as far as having a cadence or what we want to take out and change and leave. We've kind of done away with quick hits. All right. We've kind of done away with quick hits simply because I just think that it's more conducive for us to be able to tackle the actual stories. If you guys want quick hits, let me know inside of the chat. If you want me to bring quick hits back, let me know inside of the chat. I tested it out for a couple weeks just to see whether or not you guys would know that it was missing. I don't see nobody making a big fuss about it. What up, Carmela, Ella? I see y'all. Keisha, are you with me? What up, Keisha? But yeah, I think that it's been going well, and I'm just going to continue to add to the show and add value into the show, and hopefully we continue to grow. All right, so that's that. Any more housekeeping that we need to tackle? Bag chasers, subscribe. Make sure you guys are getting your Tiege. I think that's it. Y'all just want to bring quick hits back because you just used to seeing it. Bring quick hits back. Bring quick hits back to chat. Want me on the quick hits. All right, I'll test it out. You said you think change. I think change is always good. Bring it back. Y'all ain't even miss it. You didn't even know that it was gone, so I'm not even going to pay no attention to it. But I'll think about it. Y'all let me know. All right, y'all. So we got a lot lined up for y'all today. I want to tackle the tariffs. Tariffs has been levied against Canada, Mexico, and China. Canada responded, and Trump defended. All right, so we're going to tackle that in the beginning of the show. Border crossings are down, but protests against ICE is up, which is crazy to me. And Elon Musk is dismantling different government agencies, which I personally think is a good thing. But I want to know what y'all are because I want to look at it objectively from every angle. So if you have not, again, hit a like for the algorithm. If you have not sent this to your family and friends, you need to do so immediately because we are going to get started with the show. But before we do, you know what we do. We want to hit them with a quick prayer to make sure everybody is in the building. All right, y'all, let's get it. So, Lord, we absolutely, positively appreciate you. Personally, for me, I went into the weekend very thankful. God, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to be so transparent to where I'm actually speaking to you the way that I speak to you in my own home, but just publicly? But I'm a prayer warrior, and I, honest to God, you know, I am what I am. I am what I am. And I went into the weekend with all of this vigor and excitement and dedication and love and appreciation. And I came out of the weekend like a wounded warrior. Because it seems as though sometimes the minute that we show appreciation to you, God, and the minute that we publicly acknowledge you, it seems like every shot, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. But we rebuke that. Not only do we rebuke it, we are always and forever going to pass the tests that you give to us. And we know that you never give us anything more than we can handle. And I expected it. That is the beautiful thing about it, God, is that I expected for a test to come and for me to have to make some decisions and some changes. So I was already prepared for it. And most of us ain't prepared for it. Lord, give us a spirit of preparation. Give us a stick-to-itiveness. Give us consistency in our love for you and never to turn our back against you once we go through something, because we know that even when we're tested, it's not from you, it's from somebody or the enemy getting permission to test us. We know that from the story of Job because we in our word, we in our Bible. All right? When we are children of you, when we give our lives over to you, if we get saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, the devil has no dominion over us. And the only way that the devil can ever test us is if you give permission, because you know who we are and you know you got the utmost in confidence that we are going to pass the test and be great representatives of you. So what I am saying on this Monday, after a Sunday and after a Saturday that seems so tumultuous, I love you, God. I love you, God. I absolutely. If I loved you on Friday, I loved you 10 times more here on Monday. And it ain't nothing that nobody can do to stop it. And the reason that I love you and the reason that I give you so much admonition is because I know that everything else falls into place. I don't even have to pray for nothing. You already know what I need. Sometimes I may ask. Sometimes I may put the petition out there because you say ask for what you want, but I already expect for you to give me what I need. All right. Sometimes you give us what we want and it may not even be good for us just to teach us a lesson, but we're going to ask for it anyway, just because that's who we are. We bad. We bad kids. We bad kids sometimes, but we your kids. We your children, God. Listen, I love you. I appreciate you. My expectation is for this to be a phenomenal day, for it to be a phenomenal week, for it to be a phenomenal month, and for it to be a phenomenal year. I love you. Bless the people that watch this to be edified and word our mouths, guide our footsteps, give us everything we need in order to be successful. I love you. I appreciate you. And I pray everything in Jesus' name. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to tap into tariffs. So I want to give you an update before we start to deep dive into Canada, before we start to deep dive into Trump's response, before we start to deep dive into Mexico and China. I want to give you an update on what happened over this weekend that went into effect on midnight last night. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China, which are set to take effect at midnight tonight. Tomorrow will be Tariff Tuesday. But our North American allies are now vowing to strike back.
Fox Business reporter Lydia Hugh has more for us. Hey, Lydia.
Hey, good morning there, guys. That's right. President Trump is making good on a campaign promise, imposing tariffs that start tomorrow on our biggest trading partners. Imports from Canada and Mexico will face a 25% tariff, with Canadian energy facing a 10% levy, and imports from China will have a 10% tariff. Some warn that these tariffs could mean higher prices for consumers, but President Trump said yesterday it will be worth it. Listen.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that, but long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world. We have deficits with almost every country, not every country, but almost, and we're going to change it. It's been unfair.
Meanwhile, Canadian officials are calling the tariffs economic warfare.
I'm going to deep dive into the Canadian officials, including this Canadian Prime Minister candidate to replace Justin Trudeau. And we're going to get into Trudeau's response. But let me give you my thoughts really quickly, just really quickly, as it breaks down the top goods imported to the U.S. from Canada. So we have goods that are being exported and goods that are being imported. And basically, we're putting an additional tax on anything coming into the United States of America. But I want to tell you why this is a good thing from my lens. So number one, you got crude oil. So basically although we have a ton of oil under our feet, we import a lot of oil from a lot of different places, including Canada. All right. Passenger cars, new and used. What do we care? You know what I'm saying? First of all, Trump said drill, baby, drill. So we already opening up the reserves. All right. Because we're going to get richer and richer. Secondly, honestly, I don't even know why we prioritize other cars and other manufacturers that are manufacturing vehicles, even if you are a U.S. company manufacturing vehicles outside of the United States of America. I remember a time in our history, maybe in my father's history, where we had pride in buying American. Do y'all remember that? Do you remember? Okay, let me revise that, because some of y'all may not be from towns or cities that were manufacturing cities. Some people are from tourist destinations. Some people depend on the finance market. So, for example, if you're over in New York, but I come from a space and a place where the UAW didn't even allow foreign automakers or people that drove foreign cars. If you drove a Toyota, if you drove a Honda, if you drove a Nissan, if you drove anything other than an automaker, an American automaker, you had to park in the back of the lot, and you had to make that long trek into the plant if you worked at any of the big three or you worked at any of the auto manufacturers or the suppliers. I remember a time personally, and maybe it's just because I'm in Detroit, but if you didn't drive a Ford, Chrysler, or General Motors vehicle, you had to park you had a designated lot. They was discriminating. Remember when discrimination was a good thing? Oh no, we in the sassy era. I'm sorry. We in a sassy era. We in a completely different zone. We're in a different place. Now, everybody is inclusive. We're diversity, equity, and inclusive. We all got to be in the same place at the same time. We all got to love one another. It don't matter if you're illegal. It don't matter if you was born with both parts. You was a hermaphrodite. It don't matter if you got a penis, but you're walking inside of the girl's bathroom. We are all accepting of you. Don't matter if you a demon and you wear the mark of the beast on your chest. You can come into the church and you can sing in front of the pulpit. You can even run the services. You can be a Fannie Willis and you can go and sleep with everybody and then get the endorsement of the church. Matter of fact, you can come the next weekend and preach a sermon. You can do anything that you want. You can do anything that you want nowadays. We are now so weak and so emotional that we don't even discriminate anymore. I believe in discrimination. You know why? It's always a good and bad to everything, right? It's like pride. You can use the reference point where say pride comes before a fall, but that's a different definition of pride because there's multiple different definitions of words and different contexts in which you use them, but you can have a pride in your city or a pride in your team and that you always supportive of your team regardless of whether they winning or losing. Right? Having pride and having a good family is much different than being haughty and having prideful sentiment in your heart that then causes for you to be or not to be able to receive information. Right? I believe in hate. I absolutely believe in hate and division. I 100% hate sin, but I love you as a person. Right? I hate a pedo. I hate a person that rapes, but I absolutely believe in redemption and for you to make that right and do the thing that you're supposed to do. It's okay to hate, right? If you read the word of God, you will understand that God had a range of emotions. He even said, I'm a jealous God. He don't want you going over there and worshiping other gods that can't even do nothing for you. I'm the one true God. 100%. Absolutely, 100%. And so now we become so soft to where we have to go outside of our own country and our own American values, which is nothing wrong with import, export, doing business with everybody else. But I thought that the point of doing business was that it had to be beneficial for both parties. I didn't know that we were always supposed to be operating at a trade deficit to the tune of $200 billion over in Canada every year. So we supposed to subsidize Canada and we don't get much out of it other than to go out there and be able to buy something that we don't need in order to justify it for people that don't even care about us? How many of y'all ever even been to Canada before and you defending them? How many of y'all been to Canada Because, see, I come from a place where you willing to spend a couple extra dollars to support the people that actually pours into your community. That's the reason why we bought Ford, Chrysler, and GM, is because they were our employers. Duh. All of our friends and family work there. So why wouldn't I drive the thing that I worked for, that supplied me my paycheck? If I'm going to buy a car, it don't mean that you can't buy a car outside of that. But what it does mean is that you always give priority first. We so busy on lower and lower prices that we automatically shot ourselves in the foot. It's the same thing that happened with Amazon and Walmart. And now you can't walk away from it because in most places, it's the only thing that you got. And you're unwilling to even support your neighbor. Your neighbor could be the one that opens up and runs the grocery store that is right up the street, and you will pass it by just to be able to go to Walmart. Trick off. Tricking in Walmart. Tricking in Canada. Tricking in Mexico. Tricking. And that's how they destroyed small businesses, because it was so easy for you to embrace a big box store to come inside of your own neighborhood, your own city, and all of the mom and pop stores disappeared. And it's the same thing that's happening when it comes to doing businesses with other countries. Now, you give your money to these places and you don't even know where the money go. And then you'll sit there and complain about the Waltons that owns Sam's. Now you want to boycott Walmart and Target when they remove your diversity, equity, and inclusion in there. You didn't want to not want them when they was coming in and taking over everything that was going on and disrupting all of your family businesses and your mom and pop stores, and they were artificially driving down prices to drive out the competition. You didn't want to, you was voting on them to come on in. We like Wally World. Now you want to protest them because you don't feel like they paying a livable wage. This is the plight of Democrats. This is the mindset that they have, because they can't see anything long. They can't see the play. They so focused on what's in front of them that they can't focus on what the long-term play is. And that's why you see all of these raging liberals protesting against tariffs, because they'd rather pay higher taxes, subsidize outsiders, and let them inside of our country and don't get nothing out of it, just to say we all on the same playing field. It reminds me of people that used to give up their lunch money just to be friends with the bully. What? That ain't even you. Ain't even you. Reminds me of the saints. Reminds me of the church people. Reminds me of the Christians that want to be like the world. They would go to school, right? They would go to Bible study on Wednesday, and then Thursday they would act like they didn't even know God. If you ask them, if you ask grown folks today, hey man, you believe in God, or are you a Christian? Because you want to be down so bad. You want to be bad. They would follow you if you actually had a backbone. They would break in, and they looking for somebody to actually stand up and say, we the leaders, similar to how America is now saying that we the leaders, we gonna get the whole world in order, because as America goes, the whole world goes. When we had a housing crisis, the whole world shut down. They would fall in line if you actually had some backbone, but we so busy trying to be like them, and they looking for somebody to give them something to change, but we can't even stand tall for 5 seconds. You got all of these treasonous traitors inside of the United States of America that can't stand 5 seconds. Oh my God, we got to pay 13 cents more at the pump. Meanwhile, they charging you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more per car, because it's not manufactured inside of the United States of America. Cut off your nose to spite your face. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm paying more for avocados. Meanwhile, they running all of your jobs out of your own city because they've subsidized, or we've subsidized, the amount of money that we giving them just to make them our friends. I don't need no more friends. I need business partners. The United States of America don't need no more friends because friends cost money. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's a life lesson. Friends cost money. I don't want no more friends. Because every day they want to go out to eat, go to brunch. We all getting fat together, just eating. They always want to go out. They don't never want to work out with you. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to come to church with you. If your friend won't go to church with you, they not your friend, Brent. I'm going to just be honest with you. If they don't want to go to church with you, they not your friend. Friends cost money. They always want to borrow, always need your help moving. Ooh, I don't need no more friends. Forget friends. Where the business partners at? Where are the people that want to add value into my life because they understand that they getting value back? I don't want no more friends. I only want business partners. I'm done with friends. At my big old age of 42 years old, I'm done with friends. They never make the right decisions. You always got to save them. You always got to cover for them. And you always trying to debate whether or not you sacrificing your own self-worth in order to make them feel better. We don't need no more friends inside of the United States of America. We need business partners.
$4 trillion worth of goods and services from these three countries. That's according to the Congressional Research Service. These products include everyday essentials like crude oil, cars, and auto parts from Canada. We import trucks, computers, and electronics from Mexico, and cell phones, toys, and clothing from China.
We cooking today, y'all. We cooking today. It's Monday. You know Monday is cook day. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Retaliation is promised. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau already announced a 25% tariff on roughly $170
Somebody
billion.
time out Jay Newman. He's using the N-word. This is a family-friendly show. And if you don't know how to communicate like an adult, if you are a Dusty, if you don't know how to communicate like an adult, if you want to fall into your femininity, if you want to go into your sassiness, if you want to be an N-word, you can be that on After Hours on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Here on the Millionaire Morning Show, we dress up, we go to work, we take care of business, we learn how to speak proper English, and we learn how to type correctly, okay? Somebody time him out for being incorrect in the way that he communicates with us here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Come back, learn how to speak proper English, and then we're going to go ahead and continue on with the show. Let's get it.
$1 billion worth of U.S. goods. That's ranging from cosmetics to beverages, lumbers, and plastics. And the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, she's also set to announce tariffs today. So we're standing by.
Somebody time out Big Wash. He says, can't we take cursing? This is a family-friendly show. We will make sure that you will act accordingly. You can't curse in a church. No, you can't. You can't curse in a church. You wouldn't be disrespectful if you went into their house. If you go over to somebody else's house, you're not going to be disrespectful. You may do that in your house, but you're not going to do that here. We're going to do things in right, and we're going to do it in order. You're going to get your life together. Stop being dusty. Let's continue.
Information. And finally, China is pledging to initiate a case against the United States with the World Trade Organization. All of these countermeasures would come despite Trump's promise to increase tariffs further if retaliation is taken against American goods. So we'll see how all of that unfolds, guys.
And Lydia, we're starting to
Somebody
see
time
how
out,
it's
Big
unfolding
Wash.
around the world. When you look at the global markets, Taiwan is down 3.5%. Tokyo and Seoul down 2.5%. Oil prices are rising. I think they're up $2 a barrel. And the VIX, which essentially is the fear index of Wall Street, is up 20%. So investors don't know what to make of this tariff business.
Yeah, that really seems to be the case. It's injecting a lot of uncertainty into the markets, and the markets never like that type of uncertainty. But I think it's also important to remind everyone
We putting
why
tariffs on
President
people
Trump
this
is
morning.
doing this. This is about the flow of illegal migration and drugs, and he is committed to stop those two scourges on the United States, saying these tariffs will remain in place until our borders are secure and illegal drugs stop flowing into the country.
So, Lydia, what specifically does he want from these countries? He wants them to enforce the borders, close the borders, and when they do that, then he'll lift the tariffs?
That's what the White House has indicated, Ainsley. He says he wants 0 deaths from fentanyl. And just in the past week, I spent time up at the Canadian border in the province of Alberta to observe for myself what Canadian officials are doing. They insist that their border on the north is closed, and Mexico, we understand, is also working with the Trump administration. So we'll see how soon they can address these issues.
Yeah, he said that Mexico was heavy and deep in negotiations. Canada's Justin Trudeau, he decided to retaliate, so we're going to get into that. But that's just to give y'all a little bit of an update before we really deep dive into the show. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go from there. And I'm passing out chat tariffs today in honor of Trump. I'm passing out chat tariffs today in honor of Trump, all right? Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. Says, thanks for everything that you do. Thank you, Pretty Boy 79. I appreciate you, big dog. Eric Wealth Harris says, I'm so glad I decided to join the Bag Chasers last year. My P&L is up 17.54% so far. Best time to join is the 1st of the month. If y'all are not a part of the Bag Chasers, if you have not tapped into the Patreon, if you have not live streamed Stock Club, if you have not rewatched Stock Club, we just did it last week. We got a video coming out this week. Then you are absolutely missing out. I cannot believe that you guys are missing out on this money. Eric Wealth Harris just told you we up almost 18%. Crazy. It's crazy. We get money over here, all right? And I'm passing out chat tariffs too. Leisha, what up, Leisha? Says, best show, host, and co-host. Great day, big Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Chasers. Christopher Mayberry in the building says, your thoughts on Luka being traded? Do you think it was good? Would you have done it from a businessman's perspective? I think that it's phenomenal. I think that it's phenomenal for the league, because the league's watching and viewership was down significantly. It was trash. It was in the toilet. And so I think that anything that puts a jolt into the league itself is great. Everybody was talking about it overnight and over the weekend. I think that the Lakers won the trade, but I also think that Dallas won on their side, because I don't think that they was ever going to go anywhere. And if you can't get control of what he doing and his weight and stuff like that, then he's not a good cultural fit. And Dallas dodged having to pay him a supermax. They dodged having to pay him 5 years, $380 million or something like that. Man, get on out of here. You don't want to have to pay him the supermax. So now they don't have to pay the supermax. They stay competitive, and they continue to do what they do. So I think that it was phenomenal for them from a business perspective. I would have got rid of them too. Tack Smith says, just coming back from the morning show from after a while, I had to put my head down and Bag Chase digging into the studio. Anton, all love. Welcome back, Tack Smith. Paul, the true believer, says, Anton, this is crazy. Nobody's thinking, how are these illegals dropping off kids from or driving any vehicle without a license? No ID, no social. This is ridiculous. Same way that they do it in the hood. They just ain't getting caught, but we going to get there. Quinshawn Johnson, shout out to you, says, last time I remember Americans having pride in American cars was the box Chevy Caprice, Cutlass, and the square body C10 Silverado era. These newer vehicles don't last long. I think that they last pretty good. Paul, the true believer, says, I'm a CDL driver and these illegals drive like maniacs. They don't understand our U.S. rules of the road. Everybody be safe out there. Dang, that's crazy. You're truly an inspiration, AD. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Jock. Nice for everything says, good morning. My name is an example of me and my personality and my company name, but Chris Jackson might loud enough. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. High Tolerance is in the building, says, good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers. Any word on these companies be held accountable for knowingly employing these illegals? Word on the street is BMW insurance agents getting paid. BMV insurance agents getting paid under the table here in Texas. I don't know nothing about that. Banks Hayes, AMC, says, my kids play basketball. I've been putting $1 tariffs on them per missed free throw. I wouldn't even play basketball with you no more. Ain't got no jobs. Jim Short says, what's your take on market fears of an upcoming recession? I don't think that it's going to be no upcoming recession. I think that there's going to be tremendous opportunity for the people that understand how the markets work. We talked about that on Patreon last week. It's going to be absolutely awesome. All right, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. I'm going to continue to read super chats throughout the show, and let's get it popping. Canada. Justin Trudeau. He decided that he wanted to respond. And so we want to play his response. And we also want to play the person or the woman that is trying to become Canada's prime minister. We want to play her response also. But first, let's get to Justin's retaliatory tariffs on the United States of America. Let's play this out.
Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action.
I don't respect no leader that talked to me with a lisp. I'm just saying that right now. I'm gonna just say that right now. I don't respond to nobody that try to talk tough to me with a lisp. At all. I don't talk to any liberals with lisps. You can't talk to me with a whole bunch of S's and TH's. The only time that I remember having respect for anybody that talked with a bunch of TH's was the cartoons on Saturday morning when they used to say, suffering succotash. I'm just saying, it's hard because when you talk to me and I'm almost giggling and laughing, I don't even look at you as tough. You're not tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cute. I seen what you did last summer. I seen you fly over to Mar-a-Lago to try to get Trump to recognize you when he laughed in your face and told you was the governor of Canada. Nobody is scared of you, bro. And he can't even get control of his own people. His own people want him gone, and that's why he's resigning as Canada's prime minister. And now you want to start acting like you tough? Who put the battery in your back, big dog? All right, let me go ahead and hear what he got to say. Let me hear what he got to say.
With 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice.
You're going to have to learn how to say fruits and fruit juices. Dog, you know how much sugar is in orange juice? I don't want no more fruit juices anyway. All I'm drinking is water. Does this come from Canada? Maybe this is a good thing. By making y'all pay more for the thing that you don't need, we going to see who the real smokers are here. Y'all know what smokers are, right? Smokers are the people that are truly dedicated to their vices, to their negative vices. Whenever I see them outside, they got to take their smoke breaks. They all in the cold, huddled up together. I said them people are dedicated to their vices. Don't matter what kind of demon you say. It could be a person that they put on the front of the box. Mouth is chewed up from cancer. They get the commercials.
I used to be a smoker, and I'm no longer a smoker because I don't have any lungs.
Have y'all seen any of those type of commercials? Y'all ain't never seen them commercials? I have a love for smokers because I said, you know what? I'm going to hire me a smoker. They car may stink. They clothes may stink. Their hair may stink. Their skin, their pores may stink. But they are truly dedicated to their vice. Those are the type of people that you need working for you. I said these people are going to go out here in 0-degree weather and they got to have a cigarette.
I no longer have any lungs because I was a dedicated smoker.
And then they put their faces on the box and y'all still be in there buying them cigarettes. They tax them to death. They put 3,000% tariffs on cigarettes. I said, if people can pay 3,000% tariffs on cigarettes, what a demon on the front of the box to warn you against it. This is the Tobacco Smokers General. Then I know we ain't tripping about no orange juice. All that sugar in that fruit juice, oh, it ain't even real orange juice. It's fruit juice. Ain't even no pulp in it. Give me my orange juice with no pulp. And then they be at brunch. Hey, all of them on the sugar high. Oh, I ain't never smoked a day in my life, ever. I ain't never smoked a day in my life. Never was interested. Never wanted to be a basshead with the rest of y'all.
I don't have any lungs, and now I have to have a machine to talk to you.
That's how they be on them commercials, and y'all still be buying them. Let me get a pack. And you got any Lucy's? That's how they do the box. Got any Lucy's? Let me get a Lucy. Oh, shout out to the smokers. Y'all are the goats. Y'all the goats. Let's continue.
Along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada.
We don't believe you.
We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you.
Oh, we must have somebody from another country in here, like Canada. Last time America implemented tariffs, y'all had a Great Depression. Good luck. We just implemented tariffs in Trump's last administration. We was booming. We was booming. We implemented tariffs. Listen, big dog. Good luck. Y'all economy is crashing. Y'all taxed to death. Y'all don't even like y'all prime minister. Y'all fighting over leadership. We don't even believe Justin Trudeau. We don't even. Hey, listen, you know how you know somebody is weak? You know how you know somebody is weak? When they trying to implement tariffs at you, but then at the same time, they trying to convince you not to implement tariffs. You guys got to stop this because we going to retaliate against you. All right, go ahead. You got it. You got it. You ever dealt with a kid that said, I'm going to run away from home? Like, oh, look at little Tink Tink over there. Okay, you need your Dora the Explorer book bag? I'm leaving. You better stop me now. That's how we look at Canadians. That's how we look at, honest to God, that's how we look at Canada. We like y'all. We just don't like y'all enough not to tariff y'all because this is bad. Y'all been having a trade deficit. Y'all been leaving y'all borders open. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't believe Justin. We don't believe him. We don't believe you. Okay, do your worst. And we gonna watch y'all destroy your own economy, and then we gonna turn y'all into the 51st state of the United States of America, all right?
For you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada
He can't even say
will
it
put
right.
your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump.
Aww.
They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital...
You just supposed to implement the tariff. You're not supposed to try to convince us of why we shouldn't tariff you. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a weak strategy. It's like you going to your girl that cheated on you when you say, hey, you better not leave me because it ain't nothing out there for you. Them guys is they don't want you. They gonna hurt you. Have you ever seen a guy that try to convince his girl not to leave? It's the saddest thing in the world. You suppose, hey, you know what? I ain't tripping off you. Get the F out of here then. Hey, take everything you came with, get your stuff, you know what I'm saying? Get everything. Just don't come back either. Leave the keys and the bank book and take everything you came with. Where we get that from? More O's than you know exist, chick. Who you with? We ain't tripping off of you. Go ahead. I dare you. I dare you. I'm not going to sit here and talk back to you. Listen, you know what? I ain't even going to wait for you to leave. Let me get your stuff for you. Get out my house. You don't supposed to say, now if you leave, now if you keep doing that, then you know what's going to happen. You don't want nobody to get you. Nobody tripping off like that. This is not a position of power. He's not showing leadership. He's not showing strength. He's showing scared. What do the ladies say? Is given weakness, is given scared, is given femininity. I'm sure Trump is shivering in his boots right now that he's announced this in front of his people in the back.
Goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum.
Not potash.
They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen. A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us.
No, we think we'll punish you. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. We think punishment is more fitting. You're not going to continue to finesse us and think that this works out for us. Punishment is more fitting. We look at Canada. Let me tell you what Americans look at Canadians like, all right? We look at y'all as like our cute little sister, but we've been taking care of you for a long time, but you kept on taking advantage of us. You know what I'm saying? You like that girlfriend that we always been taking care of, but you never fully appreciated us because we've been misused for so long. Now we got to start putting you back in your place. Now you could be for the streets if you want to, or you can get in line, do what you're supposed to do, and then be able to benefit from our greatness. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Do your worst. Do your worst. We're going to watch y'all economy crash, and then we're going to have fun, and we're going to toast to y'all being our 51st state of the United States of America. Vehicles absolutely last long, and that's the thing. As long as you take care of your stuff, it'll be fine. Geo Black says, good morning, Anton. What are your thoughts regarding Goldman Sachs saying hedge fund managers have placed 10 times more bets on American stocks falling than rising? A complete 180 from just a month ago. I don't pay no attention to it whatsoever. I don't short stocks. I only invest in long-term companies that I think is going to benefit. And, you know, if you're a part of the Patreon, you already know that. Zach says, word on the block is Canadian manufacturing is moving to America. Yeah, I've seen that too. Is that there's several different companies that are moving to America that's over in Canada because they are taking advantage of the incentives that Trump is giving them to open up companies here instead of continuing to suffer over there in Canada with them high taxes because we are 70% of their profit and they're already losing money. Smart. 187 says, all Trump is asking for is to better manage the borders and to stop defending and for it not to be a trade deficit. What's wrong with that? Trudeau belong in room 9. Well, we're going to see how it plays out. Trudeau has zero bass in his voice. Zero. He ain't got none of that. No James Earl Jones in that voice whatsoever. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Let's continue on with the show. So, Trump spoke on levying the tariffs and what he's accomplished over the last 2 weeks, it seems like Trump has been in office at least for 6 months, to be honest with you. It seems like Trump has been in office for at least 6 months. These 2 weeks feel like 6 months. For some people, I know that y'all feeling some type of way because your mama got deported and he asked y'all if y'all wanted to keep the family together and get deported all together. The father said, no, I don't want to do that. He was really the one that called ICE on the mother and she don't know it because they got a hotline and he got $1,000 for it. All right. But Trump basically broke down what he's accomplished over this weekend, over the last few weeks, and he stood 10 toes down on tariffs on Canada, China, Mexico, and he's letting you know why he's implementing tariffs. Take a look. Check it out, y'all.
Thank you very much. So we had a very busy weekend. We got the 6 hostages out of Venezuela.
Reading super
as
chats
you
and cash
probably
apps.
know. And they're very safe right now. They're home with their families. And we appreciate the hard work of a lot of people, including Rick Grinnell. We appreciate the cooperation from Venezuela. And we have some very happy people right now. Nobody thought that was going to happen. So they are home, they're safe, and they're with their families. That was a big one. Secretary of State Rubio is in Panama right now, and we're talking about the Panama Canal. What they've done is terrible. They violated the agreement. They're not allowed to violate the agreement. China's running the Panama Canal. That was not given to China. That was given to Panama foolishly. But they violated the agreement, and we're going to take it back, or something very powerful is going to happen. And as far as other things are concerned, as you know, we had a very busy weekend. We're dealing with Israel. We're dealing with Ukraine and Russia. We have meetings and talks scheduled with various parties, including Ukraine and Russia. And I think those discussions are actually going pretty well. The discussions on the Middle East with Israel and various and sundry other countries are progressing. Bibi Netanyahu's coming on Tuesday, and I think we have some very big meetings scheduled.
Mr. President, do you feel that Elon Musk is delivering on his promises to you? Do you feel he's doing a good job right now with
I do. I think Elon's doing a good job. He's a big cost cutter. Sometimes we won't agree with it and we'll not go where he wants to go, but I think he's doing a great job. He's a smart guy, very smart, and he's very much into cutting the budget of our federal government.
Mr. President, Mr. President.
We saw some retaliatory tariffs from Canada.
Say it?
We saw some retaliatory tariffs from Canada. There was a rider in the order. Are you planning to increase the tariffs against Canada?
That is correct. I did see Panama say they will not be a part of China anymore. So that has already started to happen. Hey, man, if we actually had a president last term that stood on business the way that Trump is standing on business, everything wouldn't be in shambles the way that it's in shambles right now.
Well, it could happen. If they do anything, we will. Canada's been very abusive of the United States for many years. They don't allow our banks. Did you know that? Canada does not allow banks to go in. If you think about it, that's pretty amazing. If we have a U.S. bank, they don't allow them to go in. Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially. They don't allow a lot of things in, and we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street.
And that's the thing that people don't really take into consideration. It's that if you guys really started to see how one-sided some of this stuff is, and often at times I like to cite China, right? And China, ever since I've been a little boy, and me trying to study their culture, I've learned their language. I've learned how to speak Mandarin, not Cantonese, and understanding their cultural norms and exactly their one-child policy historically and how they do business. And if somebody was to open up a plant over there, Ford, Chrysler, GM, I specifically was highlighting what was going on over in China for the auto manufacturers, even though we allowed for them to be able to make parts and make money off of us. and we imported a lot of their products and their parts. They didn't allow for us to export at the same rate that we were importing. And if we decided to open up a business in these other countries, they would have very, very strict rules and laws that basically prevented American companies from being able to thrive, but they would then use them and steal their proprietary technology and then use it against them in order to continue to manufacture better products because they didn't have the technology, research, and development. They just had the workforce. And it's similar to what's happening in Canada. They restrict a lot of our products from going over there, which is one of the reasons, one of many, one of the reasons why we have such a massive trade deficit every single year with Canada. And so if things are that imbalanced for that long, it's not just based off of what's happening at the border. That's the cherry off top. That's the part that pushed you over the edge, right? If they don't even allow for us to export certain products there, but we allow for them to essentially export everything here into the United States of America. We import anything that they want to import as long as the market can bear it. How is that a fair deal? Basically, we're subsidizing their economy and multiple different economies across the not even the United States of America, across the world.
We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them. And this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent. Millions of people flowed into our country through Mexico and Canada. And we're not going to allow that. And by the way, we have among the lowest numbers we've ever had of people crossing our border, the lowest numbers since my administration.
Mr. President,
And he just told you straight up, and this is one of the reasons that I love Trump. He don't mince words. He's not trying to make you feel good about it. He said, listen, this is retaliatory. Oh, you going to pay the price. You thought that I wasn't going to get back in office, and so you took advantage of us when Biden was in office, and you got to come and pay your taxes. You got to pay the piper. You got to pay the piper. Have you ever seen any of the gangster movies when the gangsters get out of jail after doing their time because they held it down and they didn't snitch and they did their time, and they say, okay, time is up. I want all of my streets back. I want all of my corners back. I want everything. And I'm taxing. Otherwise, everybody gonna suffer in here. That is basically what we're seeing. And he has no problem with telling you exactly what's going on. He said, listen, we don't get nothing out of exporting and importing and doing business with them over there. It's one-sided. We don't get nothing out of it. So how about we go ahead and play the game? They get everything out of us. We don't get nothing out of them. On the flip side, down at the southern border, they let all of these illegal migrants, they let people fly into their country and then cross over into the border. They never want to get their stuff together. We've been dealing with them, and the only thing they want to give us is avocados and tequila. Nah, we not playing that game. We not playing that game. Listen, we know that we going to have to deal with Taco Bell. Taco Bell is just something that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have to subsidize or substitute Taco Bell for Del Taco or whatever it is that y'all bringing over here. All you giving me is tequila, corn, and avocado? And you sending out over your people over here? And they got bad attitudes? Nah, we not doing that. We not going to do it. I heard that Mexico just bent the knee. We going to get to that. Don't worry about it.
So on Truth Social, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the Fed Chair Jerome Powell, he held rates. What's your reaction to him not changing the rates?
What did you say?
Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the Fed meeting was this week, he held the rates. He didn't cut them.
No, I'm not surprised. think holding the rates at this point was the right thing to do.
Let's pivot over 1 second to see what's going on over in Mexico. Just pulled up the article specifically. It says that Trump pauses tariffs on Mexico for 1 month. Listen, this is a trial. This is a trial. This is not going to be, nope, you're not going to pull the rug up under me. See how smart our president is? Literally. And this came out literally just 4 minutes ago. It says he agreed to pause tariffs on Mexico for 1 month after Claudia Sheinbaum, who is Jewish, running Mexico, agrees to send troops to the border. Let's deep dive. It says that Trump is announced he is pausing U.S. tariffs targeting imports from Mexico for a month after the country's president agreed to send 10,000 troops to the U.S.-Mexico border. What do you know? So tariffs do work. Everybody that was over there talking crap, talking nonsense, saying that, oh man, Trump should never do it. Now look, don't come back over to the conservative side trying to act like, oh, you was already for it all in the first place. Don't come over here acting like you was rocking with us from the beginning, because you wasn't. Now we can stem the flow of fentanyl through the border because we got over 10,000 troops along with our own U.S. troops that's being deployed to the border. Oh, now we can start to get some results. So you telling me that they couldn't stop this all along? But no, it takes a strong hand. Go ahead, Justin, over there in Canada. Let's do it your way. So we going to pause. We going to pause tariffs for a month. We going to reevaluate what's going on. And then we going to make some adjustments. Venezuela bent the knee. They sent our troops back. Colombia bent the knee. They did what they were supposed to do. Mexico is going to bend the knee. We not going to play no games. Canada, y'all want to make this difficult? You want to make it difficult, Canada? Goes on to say, Mr. Trump wrote on Truth Social on Monday that he and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum agreed to immediately pause. Hey, and let me tell you what the difference is. She wasn't being vocal like them over in Canada. She was like, you know what? Let's hunker down. Let's figure out what we can solve. We're going to go to the negotiation table. Maybe women are better leaders than Canadian leaders. Not the United States, but then Canadian leaders. Agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs. Just had to put a timeline on it. For a 1 month period. The pause, he said, will allow negotiations headed by the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, that dude is a G. He a beast. And Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and high-level representatives of Mexico. The president wrote that he had a very friendly conversation with Sheinbaum in which she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our country. Ooh, so you know what that means, right, y'all? Philadelphia, y'all about to go through a drought. It's about to be a lot of scratching people on the Philadelphia streets. See, y'all not paying attention to the repercussions of this. The price of the brick just went up. See, that's where the real tariff is going to come in. It's going to come in because y'all can't get some of the stuff that y'all was getting illegally anymore. Huh? Philadelphia, it's about to be a lot of scratching. I need a fix. I got them cheeseburgers, man. It's going to be a lot of withdrawals on the street of Philadelphia. We're going to fix y'all. We're going to indirectly fix the people on the streets of Philadelphia. Indirectly fix the people on Kensington Street. About to be shut down. All of the fiends, they're going to have to find either a new drug or they're going to have to make some adjustments. No more fentanyl on the streets. No more. We done with that. Not China pissed off. Because China was the ones that was allowing for, they was sending it over here. And then they going to try to tell us, oh, that's y'all problem. Okay, all right. Tariffs on everybody. Tariffs. Goes on to say, unveiled the details of the deal. Scheinbaum unveiled the details of the deal in an earlier post on X, saying that the U.S. is committed to working to prevent trafficking of high-powered weapons to Mexico, that our teams will begin working on two fronts, security and trade. She wrote in Spanish that Mexico will immediately reinforce the northern border with 10,000 members of the National Guard to prevent trafficking from Mexico to the United States. Oh, well, guess what that means? Guess what that means? It means that the cartels is going to be mad. But Mexico going to have to deal with that. Not us over here at the U.S. side. That's your problem. That's a you problem, not a us problem. Nothing else to me on that. So, we already seeing progress. I like what we seeing here. That's what happens when you have strong men in power. That's what happens when you have people that stand on business. That's what happens when you start to get results and you stand on business. Now you bending the knee. Now you got to make the adjustments. Now we're going to do things that's in the best interest of Americans. Now we're going to save y'all lives. Somebody's son, somebody's daughter just got saved. Their lives were saved because of Trump. Somebody's daughter and somebody's son who was going to OD on Fenty, they need to be thanking Trump. They don't even know it yet. Trump did the precog. He proactively prevented your daughter and your son, and you a raging liberal, and you wanted to vote for Kamala Harris. You still don't even realize that he saved your daughter and your son's life. And you want to sit here and complain about the things that we doing? That's the one problem with doing preventative, having success and doing preventative maintenance and doing preventative things to prevent certain things from coming over here is because you'll never get the credit. If I let you suffer and then I save you, you'll thank me. But if I never allow for you to go through it, you just going to feel entitled. And that's part of the problem. That's the reason why we needed Trump. Honestly, this is the reason why we needed Trump. And I hate to say this, we needed him to lose. Well, we needed the election to get stolen in 2020. We needed the election to get stolen in 2020. We needed that. We did need that. It was a good thing. Because think about it. What we be is appreciative. What we even consider liberals for office still, if they hadn't messed up so bad, and we seen the difference between Trump's first administration and the Biden administration, we wouldn't be able to appreciate all of the preventative measures that he's taken to present or to protect United States citizens from all of the things that could happen to them. Ain't that crazy that we had to suffer in order to truly appreciate the president of the United States of America today? Because you never would have appreciated it, right? Because your son would have never been in a position of where he needed them cheeseburgers. He had them cheeseburgers. You know what I'm saying? And now that your son don't need cheeseburgers, you don't even realize that he just saved his life. All through a tariffs, saved his life. I got people not cussing inside of the chat. They know how to speak more appropriately to their wives and their daughters now instead of calling her a little funky hussy because we put tariffs in the chat. I'm taking credit for that. If Trump take credit for the Fenty, I'm taking credit for your daughter. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. I like them cheeseburger emojis inside of the chat. Brandon Nicholson says, did you see Ukraine only got 58% of the money? Yep. That's what happens. It's time to find a truce, baby. Ain't no more money that's going to go to finance the war complex that we got going on that everybody has been benefiting from. We done with that. It's over. We not sending no more money. America's closed. The banks is closed. We not loaning out no more money. Their credit is too bad. Jason A-Team says, Trump's moving for America like China is doing for its country. Same with Russia, trying to expand territory and put its own interests first. He's moving so much faster than his first term is great. But that's because he actually got the support of the American people. It's clear as day. It is clear as day that the whole Biden regime did anything to launder money and get rich and help our adversaries while in office. The 50 M's for Gaza almost proves it. It can't believe how bad it is. It was bad, bro. It was horrible. Nate 2 times says, Anton, when you taking coaching calls, got 2 jobs now, making over $150K a year. Let me get a round of applause for you. and in school. Shout out to the hustlers. Don't let them women take your money, big dog. Trying to break into tech, haven't reached the $250K a year yet, but it'll happen. 2 years ago, I was making $45,000, and now I'm making $150,000. Can we just get a round of applause again for that? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I'm not sure yet. Maybe in March. I'm thinking maybe mid-March. We'll see how that goes. The U.S. has all the leverage. Facts. Y2K says, what up, though? I appreciate you. My girl, Mika. What up, Mika? Says, AD, Mexico having migrant issues, too. They need him. I agree. Shout out to my slim, trim Coke bottle, Mika. I might have to bring her into Detroit. Let me not say that out loud. Anyways, because then people going to be feeling some type of way. Why you keep bringing little slim, trim Mika shaped like a Coke bottle into the studio? Because we need to have some in-person meetings and conversations, all right? No excuse lifestyle. Rocky Cage says, what up, AD? Should I put tariffs on disrespectful people? Let's be honest. Not saying I'm glad the 2020 election was stolen, but this is the best thing that ever happened because it woke a lot of people up. Salute, AD. I agree, big dog. I agree. Aw. No, you didn't just give me a dislike because I said I was going to bring Mika to Detroit. Oh, man. Let me find out who put that on. They should. You know what? That's the one thing about YouTube. We should be able to see who like and dislike so we can put tariffs on them. They say I got to stay focused. I don't know how to stay focused. I don't know how to do. Lord, bless me not to be amongst people that'll distract me. That Mika. Y'all don't know what it's like to have her in person. She different. Make you feel different about yourself in person. Oh, Anton. Oh, my God. I thank you so much. You're so nice. I said, you know what I'm saying? Miss Crotty Shetty is different. I'm a man, ain't I? No? Okay, don't worry about it. Y2K says, I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Yesterday, my husband and I were downtown. The Hispanics had the audacity to have a protest yelling, Viva Did they? Don't worry, we going to get there. That's a part of the show. Ken J in the building says Biden pre-pardoned those officials for a reason. Yeah, we know what's going on with the Biden administration. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Yeah, my voice did get a little bit deeper. Cause man, when you talking about the ladies, you got to start going with your Barry White voice. You know what I'm saying? Nah, cause see, you can't do all of this when you talking about the ladies. You got to, hey, what you got going on over there? Chill out. I got this. Anyways, make sure you hit a like for the. He said we must stay focused, my brothers. Make sure y'all hit a. I'm just messing around. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. That black dress do hit different. And turn on your notifications. First, before we get into the protest, because I do want to get into the protest. I want to talk about the protest. We got over 5,000 people in here on YouTube alone, and it's a little short on the likes. I just want to say that. Maybe we'll go over to a Tiege Hanley commercial. But before we get over into the protest, I want to start with Tom Homan. I want to give y'all an update on the migrant crisis because I know a lot of y'all friends and family, some of your schoolmates have been arrested and sent back into their countries. So I want to give y'all an update on that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock, y'all.
Meanwhile, President Trump says Venezuela has agreed to take back tens of thousands of Venezuelans who've committed crimes and are living in America illegally, including the dangerous gang Tren de Aragua.
Y'all want me to give Mika an inspection? Oh, man, y'all trying to get Tom Dog in trouble. Y'all trying to get Tom Dog in trouble. Tom Dog can't be giving Mika the inspections. Not Mika.
As Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and ICE and border officials continue to arrest and deport dangerous illegal criminals, migrants from the country. Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the U.S. border czar, Tom Homan. Tom Homan is in an undisclosed location right now as he begins another operation. Thanks very much for being here, Tom. Can you assess your work so far?
Well, look, I looked at the numbers this morning, Maria. The crossings on the border are down 93%. 93%.
Wow.
That's a bigger decrease than under the first Trump administration. So look, I said it. President Trump is a game changer. No one has had the success he's had on securing the border. He clearly understands we can't have strong national security if we don't have border security. We need to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in, and we have achieved a success on the border already. We got more work to do, and on top of that, we, as far as the deportation operation, we're just shy of. I think we got 5,000 already arrested the first week, and majority of them being criminals. The non-criminals, and the media's talking about, who are these non-criminals? The non-criminals are arrested in sanctuary cities because you force us into the community rather than arresting the bad guy in the jail. And when we find that criminal, he's most likely with others, and they're going to go too. So if you want to be a sanctuary city, you're going to get exactly what you don't want. More agents in the community and more non-criminals arrested.
Tom, I know that you met with Canadian officials on Friday as the tariffs were looming. The tariffs have, in fact, been announced and took effect yesterday. President Trump is expected to have a real effect on Tuesday of this upcoming week. Did you get a sense of what Canada is going to do to retaliate?
No, I didn't. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that. I mean, I'll brief him on the meeting I had, but that's the president's decision. I don't want to get ahead of him on that, but I will brief him on what I heard, and so he knows what they have done, what they said they will do. But I'll leave that after a discussion with the president this week.
Our streets are safer. It's probably somebody, again, we talking about proactively removing criminal elements that obviously was going to translate into more criminal behavior on the streets. That is what this does. This isn't what people don't understand about this migrant crisis and what was happening. And we were screaming to the top of our lungs and at the rooftop when this was happening in 2000, because it was crazy. It was happening. There was nothing that we could do about it. 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, you had a record number of people that were coming over here and basically taking your taxpayer dollars and coming over with size 14 shoes, standing on your couch in your communities, driving cars, getting into accidents, running into school buses, and just and filling up your schools, and was sitting right next to your children and they couldn't even speak English. It was crazy. It was like having a squatter, except for you were still living in the same house. It was like having a squatter because you could not pay the mortgage. We still had to pay our taxes. You can't not pay the mortgage because the mortgage companies, they still want their money. Regardless of whether you pay your rent or not, they still want their money. And it was crazy because it was like, wait a minute. I can't believe, and the people over there in Chicago, I felt the worst for y'all in New York. Because Chicago ain't got as much money as New York, even though they're a major city, even though it's the biggest Midwest city. And the way that they was running that city, it was insane. They were buying houses. They were taking resources away from the residents. They was creating sanctuary cities. They were creating migrant shelters right in your own neighborhoods. They was taking your taxpayer dollars and giving it to them. They was doing anything they could. They was partnering with the archdiocese and the churches. The church leaders was standing behind Brandon Johnson and all of this nonsense. And nobody tripped. Nobody tripped. Yo, we are sitting here protesting vigorously and partnering with people that came over here illegally. But at the same time, y'all didn't even bat an eye when they was coming over here in droves by the millions. They were coming over here by the millions and y'all wasn't tripping about it. No big deal. We need more pumpkin pickers. They wasn't picking pumpkins, big dog. What you think they was picking pumpkins? They was robbing people on scooters in New York. They were robbing. Gang members was taking over whole apartment complexes over in Denver and in Aurora. They had a 33% increase in illegal migrants in Springfield. And the only thing y'all can focus on is whether or not they was eating cats and stealing geese. Nobody protested. Nobody had a problem with it on the left. They was just like, yeah, reproductive rights. Until it's your kid that get hurt, or you can't walk down the street, or they turn into, they form different gangs and they form different sects. I just couldn't believe what was happening over the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It was incredible. And think about this for a second. Let's put this in perspective, y'all. Tom Homan is the border czar. Tom Homan is the border czar. Kamala Harris was the border czar. Tom Homan was the border czar. Kamala Harris was a border czar. Tom Homan is the new border czar again. You got to remember that he served under 7 different administrations. 7 administrations. Kamala Harris did nothing. Tom Homan did more in 2 weeks than Kamala Harris did in their entire administration. That's really, like, it got to be eye-opening. It's got to be something there. We need to really take that into consideration, right?
Tom, you've also said that you're going to start moving migrants, illegals in this country to Guantanamo Bay, hopefully within 30 days. What's the plan? Are they going to stay there until you can get them back to their home country?
Absolutely. Look, the worst of the worst need to go to Guantanamo Bay. And for those folks that don't know, we've had a migrant processing center there for decades. We don't use an awful lot. Usually it's the Coast Guard holding people from Haiti and Cuba that were, arrested, entered the country through the maritime. So we got a facility there. We're going to expand it a lot and hold the worst of the worst over there. I mean, it's the right thing to do. And the beds are much cheaper over there. So look, President Trump's about efficiency. It's about getting the bad guys out. This is one of many ideas we have, and we're going to put it in place.
Tom, you said that the crossings are down 93%. This is incredible. President Trump put these tariffs in place because of the flow of fentanyl. What can you tell us about that? Because the president has ordered 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports and 10% on goods from China because of their inability or unwillingness to stop the fentanyl from flowing into our country, killing 100,000 Americans every year.
Which is exactly why President Trump has designated the criminal cartels in Mexico as terrorist organizations. I've said from the RNC convention to the president, I said that the terrorists or these cartels have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. So President Trump took the right step. Look at these cartels. They've killed thousands of journalists, thousands of politicians, hundreds of judges, legislators. They're running the country of Mexico. So President Trump's making the right move by, number one, declaring a terrorist organization so the whole of government can attack them, not just in Mexico, but in 42 countries. The least cartels in 42 countries around the world now. They're in every major city of this country. They have set up shop. So President Trump's going to hold Mexico accountable. They haven't taken enough action against these cartels. They've been operating for decades in Mexico. They're operating freely. We know that. And look, I'm not going to say every official in Mexico is corrupt, but many are, and we simply know that. So he's going to hold Mexico accountable. They got to take action these cartels and stem the flow of fentanyl. Not only that, the sex trafficking of women and children across our border. It is illegal in the country of Mexico to sex traffic women and children, but they're not stopping it. It's illegal for anybody from around the world to transit through Mexico without a transit visa, but they're allowing it. So President Trump's exactly right on doing this.
Have you been able to bust into human trafficking operations that are operating in America right now? Because I know that the drug lords got people across, but then they created all these new businesses, drug trafficking and human trafficking businesses, and they've got headquarters in America.
I got to be careful. We're involved. Let me just leave it at that. A lot of this law enforcement sensitive, but we're aware of a lot of it. We're in the middle of some of it, and you're going to see some things happening in the near future on that.
Okay, and you are in an undisclosed location right now, beginning another operation. Tom, we're watching your work, and we appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Shout out to Tom Homan. We got to give him a round of applause. Incredible job. Incredible job, sir. You deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. You deserve an award, Tom. Absolutely one of the greatest American treasures. You are underappreciated. I need to put some labels on that to prevent that from even being shown. They got to send a bag. Absolutely a national treasure. America every single day becomes much safer because you are getting out of here people that break the law, that is not supposed to be here, and then feel a sense of entitlement of being here as a result of getting the support from raging liberals. You know what the worst part about this is? I can't remember one time during the last administration where Biden spoke on illegal migrants not supposed to be here. Can y'all think of one time where Biden spoke about illegal migrants not supposed to be not being here? In 4 years, I can't think of off the top of my head the Biden administration addressing the migration issue. I can't think about it. He does look like Hank from Breaking Bad. He acts like Hank from Breaking Bad. I don't remember. Not one time. Let me read some of the super chats and then we'll go on from there. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. Tariff Time in the building. Good morning, AD. What up, Shadow Dragon TV? I appreciate you. Tariq Walker, shout out to you. I appreciate you. David Williams says, AD, you ever going to start wearing a tie on the show? I'm thinking about it. I thought about it. I really did. I thought about it. I thought about switching up suits and all of that. You'll see me test things out and an evolution of what goes on here. My shirts are very, very expensive. The AD shirts are very expensive. So, yeah, man, we got to start one thing at a time. I don't know if you guys actually want a tie. I don't know if that would be too formal because I want to do the news, but I don't want people to feel like, they have to wear a tie. It's almost like going to church. You know what I'm saying? I want people to be able to praise God, but, I don't want you to feel like you have to dress up in order to be there. So trying to, balance it out, trying to figure it out. We'll go from there. Shout out to you, David Williams. Great question. So you let me know if y'all want me to wear a tie. Daddy Day Trips came in with a couple of them, says, just hopped in the car to hear LA Mexicans are planning to protest a day with an immigrant. Yeah, I just did a video of that. I say do it. They did it in 05, no traffic, quiet streets, a day without an immigrant. The nerve of the uninformed. They are comparing deportation to Black Civil Rights Movement. Oh my God, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let them whine. Royalty Nails, shout out to you, Royalty Nails by Queen, says, just want to tell my husband who's watching I love and appreciate him. Shout out to your husband. Look at you. Shout out to hubby. You got to say his name though, Royalty Nails, so I can say his name. So he'll know who he is, so he'll know how great you are to him. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Tree said no tie. Whiskey Pierre says no tie. No tie, no tie. Casual wear. No tie, no tie, no tie. Do what works for you. Watching your show on a plane. Shout out to 2000 Lamar. Ties are temporary. Nah, Anton is free. Don't need no stinking tie. A tie will be nice, says Valerie. It seems like most of the people are saying no tie. A tie isn't necessary. Refrigeration Devil says tie. No tie, you good? Maybe a tie once a week. All right. Keep it business casual. It sounds like the people saying no tie. All right. So we're going to rock out with no tie. I think that this is sufficient. If I start to get antsy, we'll tie, we'll trick. Maybe I'll come in with the blue on Fridays or something like that. Switch up the colors. Give you a new color on Fridays. We'll test it out and see what's going on. Anyways, hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. ICE is dealing with protesters over there in Los Angeles. Make sure y'all hit a like and let's find out what's going on over there.
Here as if they were going to be taken into custody, placed under arrest, more like just getting them off of this roadway. But it does appear like that is now clear. You're on Los Angeles Street, if I remember correctly. So it looks like the overpass is now cleared. Yeah. So tell us what you see behind you, how far back that goes, and whether police, you think, are going to kind of start sweeping to get people out of this general area away from the 101.
So let me show you two things that are important real quick, because I think the
to show you exactly where we are. Let's go over in this direction here, right? So we have the road that runs along the 101 as well. You see all those orange flashing lights, yellow flashing lights. I know obviously it's a little bit dark out here, but just to give you a sense, that's Aliso Street, right? We were there at 6 o'clock. People were blocking the intersection there, and we saw this huge swarm of LAPD kind of come up that street to try to dissipate the crowd. And guess what happens? You move the crowd from that location, they end up at another location. And because it's been so packed over here, they were able to essentially block this entire intersection here, and that's where they have been sitting for the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. If we turn back around real quick, you can see police, LAPD has gotten a good control on trying to block traffic. For the entirety of the afternoon we've been out here, these roads have been open to cars. Now, not to say cars are moving or cars are moving particularly fast, but many of them were protesters, and you had some other people within the crowd trying to drive through. So people have been walking through, weaving their way through crowds. Now, it seems LAPD has gotten to the point where they have this crowd on this intersection here, and most of the streets in the immediate vicinity kind of shut off. Obviously, with the riot gear and with the officers here, there's a concern that there may be potentially arrest or confrontation. That has not happened. This has been peaceful. Obviously, they got on the 101 several times over the course of this afternoon. But at the moment, this crowd really just started gathering here in the last 15, 20 minutes. You see them having very lively conversations face-to-face with police. It's not escalated to this point, but obviously, this is the particular area we're keeping an eye on. And if you look up the street as well, these protesters go all the way up to the following street as well. So there's still easily hundreds, if not several thousand still out here.
All right, Tim, we are hearing from CHP that they gave a dispersal order earlier this afternoon. Is that something that you possibly have heard on the ground that people are just ignoring? Or do you think it's possible that these protesters did not know they had been ordered to disperse?
So there's been kind of several different kind of bumps throughout the day, right? So the protest started earlier today. They got onto the 101 at one point, and there was essentially a line of CHP, a dozen cars, 25 cars that lined up, and all the protesters right at this intersection where we are. And I'll show you here behind me, because they're not here now, but I just want to give you a sense of where they were, right? Because they all walked down this on-ramp here initially, and they got onto the 101 right there. And when CHP came out here, there was...
See? If this was a video game, if we was playing GTA 5 or GTA 6, everybody would be bowling pins. You're not just going to keep on walking around and thinking that you can do what you want to do. The only reason that this flies is that this is in liberal cities. Los Angeles, Houston, Atlanta, so on and so forth. What do they think is going to happen? Do they think that Trump is then going to say, you know what, they protesting, so we going to have to go ahead and prevent them from being able to get deported and arrested? Because they're not just protesting peacefully, even though that's what they telling y'all right here. They've been defacing stuff. They've been spray painting stuff. They've been tearing stuff up. This is not just a large gathering like they're over there in Chicago. They are out there tearing stuff up, and they are here's the kicker, y'all. This is the funniest part about it. They're protesting with Mexican flags from the country that they don't want to go back to. Putting targets on their back from an administration that is vowing to catch them all and deport them. How are you protesting with a flag? Hello? Mass is calling. Okay, can I call you in like 30 minutes, 35 minutes? Okay, thank you. All right, bye. That was Empower Retirement. Anybody that knows or that has a 401k that has ever used Empower, when you leave a position, they want to talk to you about what you want to do with all of the money that you basically stacked up with them in the form of 401ks and all of that stuff. So that's who they called me for. I kept seeing this number pop up on my phone over and over again. And I'm like, who is this calling? I need to find out. But anyways, let's continue on with the show.
It's a bit of a standoff, right? It took a good hour and a half where nobody moved. And then eventually, after that order came down, the people eventually worked their way back up
the off-ramp itself onto these streets here. I'm going to walk you down a little bit to show you. I know the action's in the other direction where all the people are and LAPD is, but you're asking about a little bit earlier. So that dispersal happened when they were on the 101 itself, and you see what's happening here because this is the road that they're not letting them down. This is where they initially went down, and you see with the police tape up here, even all the garbage on the ground from the people who were walking down there and protesting earlier today, they are not letting anyone, protesters, cars, otherwise go down this street. That's where it began, but then eventually when many of those people came up onto these streets in downtown, they were covering all the streets. They initially went to City Hall. They kind of went in the other direction as well.
Y'all said I need boots on the ground. Y'all think I need to fly out there to Los Angeles? I don't know if I'm gonna be. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Let's learn a little bit more about what's going on.
All over the place. There's so many protesters out here that they're essentially on every street corner, or at least have been. Now the group is a little bit smaller, and they seem to have gathered on this corner here, Arcadia and Los Angeles Street, and that's where LAPD has kind of closed in on this group, and now essentially trying to disperse them. But this
flags that they carrying. Hold on. Look at all of the
closed in on this group.
They're carrying Mexican flags from about a country that they don't want to go back to. Somebody in the chat, tell me how that makes sense. Somebody in the chat tells me how that makes sense.
And now
they are carrying a Mexican flag and saying, don't deport me back to the country that I support the most. It reminds me of all of these people that's always talking about the African flag and the African diaspora and all of this stuff. And it's like, dog, you ain't never even been to Africa. You're not even from there. You're not even from there. Oh, sister, look at what you're doing to me. Sister, you gonna do that to me? You gonna do that to me again? Let me continue to find out what's going on. We're gonna read super chat shortly.
It looks like they're also trying to back some protesters away from those side streets. Aliso,
look at all of them protesters,
which overlooks the 101 freeway on one side, and then Arcadia, which overlooks the freeway where you are pointing right now. And so we'll see if they continue to push those protesters back. I think from what we can tell, just it looks like things might have calmed down a little bit once police.
Yeah, that looked like an insurrection to me. That looked like an insurrection to me. It looked like an insurrection to me. It just does.
Stepped in to kind of show where things were going, where protesters were allowed. They're not going to allow them to do this. Or we could see, as we've seen before,
Zena B says California belonged to the United States of America now. Listen, anybody that think that California belonged to Mexico, it belonged to us. Africa belongs to China. Somalia, Minnesota belongs to Somalians. I don't know. I mean, who can say what belongs to who? Listen, California belongs to the United States of the Americas. End of the conversation. They don't need no California. They can't even manage what they got right now. Canada about to become the 51st state. The Panama Canal is ours too. Canal of America. It's ours now.
Group kind of regroup.
Actually, I think we should break off California and send it over there. California, Mexico can have California. It don't serve us no purpose anyway. I mean, I like California because I like visiting my bag chasers out there. And if y'all ever been to Hollywood, it smell like piss all over the street. Robert De Niro's Walk Star looked like trash. I seen Michael Jackson or some makeshift version of it. I seen the old Michael Jackson dancing on Robert De Niro's Star. Ain't that crazy? The Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson with the coarse hair, with the afro. I seen Michael Jackson dancing on Robert De Niro's Star. I said, this can't be life. This can't be life. The police officers were grouped because they didn't want to separate themselves. If you've ever walked down Hollywood, it is garbage and it smells like piss. It needs to be washed thoroughly. all day long. They can have California, honest to God. They can have California. They can have Chicago. They can have, you can't have New York. That's finance capital. They can have all of them places. They can have that. Ain't nothing but a bunch of raging liberals. Matter of fact, you can't have California. You can have Los Angeles. How about that? You can have Los Angeles. You can't have California. You can have Chicago. You can't have Illinois. You can have New Mexico. You can have New Mexico. You can have Colorado too. You can take that. But I don't know why everybody just won't move to Mexico. I think that half of America that voted for Kamala Harris should move to Mexico and Canada.
Reposition themselves and find another way to get on the freeway. It's just a matter of seeing what this group does and where their motivations are and how motivated they are to continue this disruption.
Yeah, and one of the things we're hearing right now is all those horns that are honking from people that are riding on the freeway. So as those have been signs of possible support from cars that might entice them to want to stay out there longer as they're trying to get their message out there.
They can have
and
Chicago,
for the cars driving along the freeway that are kind of honking and encouraging them to stay, then that might increase the chances that they won't disperse as soon as they can.
Yeah, and we can see you from Air 7. At the top of your screen there is Tim and our cameraman Will. This is Los Angeles Street overpass over the 101 freeway. A large group has gathered on Arcadia Street and Los Angeles Street overlooking the 101 freeway.
You don't want them to have
and we have not heard any fireworks go off in the last few minutes. I say that knocking on wood, hoping that does not change. But Tim, what does it sound like from ground level of what's going on there?
Well, this all happened very quickly. In fact, after we talked to you guys at 6 o'clock, we were working our way back to our van, which is just on the other side of this crowd. We actually walked a long way around, following the initial crowd that marched along one street over from where we are and back to Los Angeles Street. And when we got here, that's when a handful of people found a kind of sneaky way to get on an on-ramp back onto the 101. And once that happened, it was kind of like a melee for a second.
Look at what he doing.
Everyone saw the people on the freeway, and then everyone was...
Listen, the police officers over in Los Angeles, shout out to police officers. You know, I support my police officers everywhere y'all are, all across the United States of America. The police officers, unfortunately, their hands are tied because they live and work in a liberal city. If it was up to me, everybody would be getting their papers checked out. They better be glad that Anton Daniels is not the governor or the Los Angeles mayor. Everybody's papers is getting checked out. Woo! Everybody going to jail. Oh, you want to protest? All right, give me a second. One illegal migrant at a time. Everybody, especially the flag bearers. Flag bearers are going first. Anybody that's waving a Mexican flag, that's treasonous over here. You're getting arrested. Insurrection. Everybody getting checked out. Everybody getting checked out. I can't wait to ICE flood. ICE just need to flood the whole state. Stop and frisk. Anybody that is riding down the street that look like they're illegal, stop them, check them. Let me see your papers. Checkpoints, the same way that they do DUI checkpoints, that's how they need to do checkpoints in Los Angeles. That's all right. They're going to mess around and find out. I see all of y'all want to support them too. You don't even support your own people. You don't even support the people in your neighborhoods, but you want to get on TikTok and I stand with Mexicans. You ain't never even been to Mexico. Ain't never been to Mexico a day in your life, but you stand with Mexicans. Somebody had asked me a question. I forgot what the question was. Don't worry about it. This is the Millionaire Derailment Show. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we'll move over to the next part of the show. Executive Suite MLE says, what up, though? I sent you something in the P.O. box and asked you to wrap today. Hopefully you can use it for tomorrow's show. Peace. All right. Let me check that out. We need Trump in the UK. Y'all do. Y'all was protesting in the UK. Jay Hunter Lee is in the building, says at least a pocket square. No, I like to basically rock out informal. I don't want it to make it too formal. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Courtney Egger says, I say wear the tie. So when it's crash out time, the tie will come off like you do with all of your glasses when you're frustrated. I'm going to read sisters last. Day Trip says, I'm going down there with my American flag. First person trip Their photo was going straight to ICE. Y'all want me to go down there? Minnesota County Unsolved Crime Channel says, stop flying flags of countries y'all hate to go to. Let me read Sister's super chat because she always acting up. The morning AD and the Chasers towards more AD shirts. Also special shout out to Yakar for the excellent Bible study yesterday. Ties and all. Shout out to Sister. Man, Sister, you've been showing me love and holding me down for so long. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that contributes to the platform. It does not go unnoticed. You are absolutely appreciated. Every single person. But Sister, you've been contributing and holding me down for a long time. And I haven't even asked for it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to tell you I love you. I appreciate you. Special thanks to you. It don't matter if it was $1 or if it was just a like. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, my love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all want me to go down to California? I don't know if I'm going to make it in time because I got some interviews scheduled for this week. Actually, I was supposed to link up with Jason Wilson last week. But yeah, me and Jason, we supposed to link up and do an interview this week, so I'm going to be dropping that for y'all. I wonder if I should just drop it for the Bag Chasers first. I don't know. Shout out to Jason Wilson. I'm supposed to be linking up with him. We've been talking back and forth. I also talked to Willie D yesterday. We had a long conversation. I'll let y'all know more about that on the Anton Daniels channel. We'll talk about it. Anyways, but I don't want to mess up the interviews and the different content creators that we linking up with and the people that we doing business with this week. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it to LA. Maybe I'll fly out there this weekend. Oh, I could fly out to LA this weekend, right? All right. Well, let's continue on with the show. We got a lot to cover. Let's talk about Trump, Elon Musk, and USAID. I like to call it USAIDs. Yeah. They saying that, well, I know that Trump and Elon Musk is absolutely trying to gut some departments inside of the United States of America government and shut them down. I'm going to get it from a different angle this time. Let's take it from CNN's angle so that people won't say that I'm being biased. Let's see what they have to say about USAID.
Breaking overnight, workers at the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, in Washington were told to stay home this morning. The main office closed. They received an email shortly after midnight telling them, don't come in. This is the latest development on the future of USAID after both President Trump and, maybe more importantly, Elon Musk said it needed to be shut down.
San Quentin, y'all.
It's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
All right, let's get to CNN's Jennifer Hansler at the State Department for the latest on this. You helped break this news about the email overnight. What have you learned?
Well, John, this is just the latest in a string of developments that indicate that Trump intends to abolish the U.S. Agency for International Development. We had that notice that went out overnight to employees not to show up to headquarters. You heard those comments from Trump. And as you noted, Musk has also demonized the U.S. Agency for International Development. He has played an outsized role on this administration.
Yo, I'm on a live stream. People said I need to send you to LA for correspondence to find out what's going on with these migrant protests in the streets.
Yeah. I got people that need me up in there.
Oh.
Yeah, they trying to get me up out of here.
Let me get back to the show. Quinn said he not going. He ain't trying to die out there with them. Quinn said, no, dog. I need people. Oh, let's get back to the show, y'all.
Administration's decisions on federal agencies, and he hosted a Spaces on X overnight to go after the agency, criticizing it for alleged misuse of funding. And he said that Trump had agreed that it needed to be shut down. Take a listen to what else he said.
As we dug into USAID, it became apparent that what we have here is not an apple with a worm in it, but we have actually just a ball of worms. And so at the point at which you don't merely, like if you've got an apple and it's got a worm in it, maybe you can take the worm out. But if you've got actually just a ball of worms, it's hopeless. And USAID is a ball of worms. There is no apple. And when there is no apple, you've just got to basically get rid of the whole thing.
So I should note, John, that he didn't provide a lot of evidence to these claims, but it is the latest signal that USAID is in the administration's target site. Now, Democrats say the abolishment of the agency would not be legal because it was created under statute. It is an independent agency, and they say that Trump cannot just unilaterally choose to fold it under the State Department, which is what his intention is reportedly to be. Now, the State Department has not commented on the developments, but we do also see a number of other troubling signs. Over the weekend, we reported that there was an incident involving Doge employees from Musk's office, and they went to try to access USAID, and they were blocked.
Okay, tell me that you don't really know what you're talking about and that you're just reading from a script without telling me you just reading from a script. She said Doge. She didn't even say Doge. Check this out. Look at her.
From Musk weekend, we reported that there was an incident involving Doge employees from Musk.
She reported it like you spell it, Doge. Oh, CNN, y'all got to stop with the cost cutting. Jesus Christ. Y'all got to stop with the cost cutting over there at CNN. They got interns doing the news now. Ain't no weekend pundits. They done fired everybody. They trying to cut costs. The net worth of the company is going down. Don Lemon is on the streets of LA now. Good God. Jesus. Lord have mercy. Y'all got to stop with the cost cutting over there. Seriously. Seriously, bro.
Musk's office, and they went to try to access USAID, and they were blocked, and officials were put on leave for trying to block them from accessing classified information, John.
All right, Jennifer Hansler for us at the State Department. We'll have much more ahead also on USAID and who depends on that funding in those workers. Thank you so much for your reporting on this.
We set up Doge.
Yes.
How much do you think we can...
I'm reading these articles right now. It says USAID closes headquarters to staffers Monday as Musk says Trump supports shutting the agency down. I think that it's a lot of parts of the government that needs to be shut down, to be honest with you. I honestly do believe that there's a lot of agencies that need to be shut down in the federal government. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys really quickly, and we can go over this article because they clearly don't know what the hell they're talking about. According to ABC, Trump administration continued to enact brisk change. They talk about tariffs. Okay, that's old. Yeah. I think that it's a lot of these agencies that need to
rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris Biden.
On the one side, you have Elon Musk, of course, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, tasked with eliminating trillions in government spending. On the other side, you have career civil servants.
Wait. The USAID has a $50 billion budget? Let me do some research on that real quick.
Quite literally in his way, and they're paying the price. One senior Treasury official suddenly resigning on Friday after DOGE members tried to get access to the Treasury Department's payment system. With that official out of the way, Elon Musk and DOGE now have access to that system. What does that system do? It handles the sensitive information.
It's shut down.
It's your sensitive information, American taxpayers' sensitive information, and it conducts payments, cuts the government's checks for $5 trillion every year.
USAID.gov.
Medicare payments, tax refunds, Social Security checks, all of it. And then there was another showdown taking place on Saturday night typically not a hotbed of activity for the government.
Their entire website is shut down. That is insane. Wow. That's crazy. I guess I can go to usaspending.gov to try to figure it out. Oh, man. That's insane. I wasn't expecting that. Let's see. USAID, Agency for International Development. Their website is usaid.gov, which is broken. How much has this agency planned to spend on awards? Funding, how much funding is available to this agency? $22.5 billion in budgetary resources for federal budget 2025 and 2024. They had a $44 billion budget. In 2023, they had a $50 billion budget. 2022, $47 billion. 2021, and $37 billion. Why did they have such a high budget in 2023? How is funding distributed? I can't even tell where the money is going. Oh, no. You got to be kidding me. So this is where all of the money is going. Okay, so you got Ukraine, and this is just for this year. This ain't got nothing to do with the years before. Ukraine, 780, 500 million so far this year. Budget for humanitarian assistance, South Africa, Colombia, Ethiopia, El Salvador, Nairobi, West Africa Regional, Egypt, Rwanda, Jordan, Honduras, Tanzania, Gaza. Really? Uganda, Bangladesh, Senegal, Guatemala, Haiti. Wow. Iraq. This is insane. All right. So, yeah, this got to go away. I agree 100%. I agree 1,000%. Is no reason why that agency and that department even need to be open. So why they complaining? Why they complaining that they going in there and they shutting it down? So basically they have a $50 billion annual budget, between $28 and $50 billion in an annual budget that allows for them, basically we paying federal workers to distribute American taxpayer monies to other countries, and we don't even know what they're going to that country for. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So why are they then saying that it's a problem that they're actually gutting that agency? This is what the Department of Government Efficiency is for. It's to go through and find out where your taxpayer dollars is going. And if we sending money out to these other countries in the form of corruption, then we need to stop it. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane.
Two top security officials at the U.S. Agency for International Development are now on leave because they attempted to block DOJ officials from gaining access to restricted systems. Sources telling CNN that DOJ officials went to the USAID headquarters. They were trying to access security systems.
Ukraine said yesterday that they didn't receive all that money. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. I believe that they didn't receive all of that money. Why would they? Come on, man. If y'all think that Ukraine is getting all of that money, you a fool. Somebody is driving around in a Lamborghini Revuelto in Miami right now, based off of all of the money that's being distributed to these other countries. It's a bunch of people that's getting rich. A bunch of them.
And personnel files. Two of their sources also confirming to CNN, Doge officials also wanted access to classified
No, Chris, we got to remove it completely.
The members of Doge threatened to call the U.S. Marshals, and they were eventually able to access USAID headquarters. Stephen Collinson, big picture here. These scenes, right, of these government officials trying to follow the law as it is currently written, trying to stand in the way, clearly losing these fights. What are the implications? I mean, this Treasury system, it's banal, but it includes the information of anyone that interacts
They
with
said,
federal-
no, I'm not saying that nobody is pocketing a few M's. I think that people are pocketing a few B's. B's, not M's. It's some B's walking around. They're going to be in Monaco, at the F1 races and all of that. Hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm in construction. I started a construction company. No, you got rich off the Biden administration. We all know that. Come on, man. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. For anybody to justify this, it's crazy in my opinion. I don't think that anybody should be able to justify this nonsense. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me just say this. Of all of the things that I've experienced in my entire life, I will tell you that this country is absolutely flawed, 100%. But I love it. I love this country so much because this is the only place, in my opinion, where you can truly say what you really feel. Well, we were being censored a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, you can pretty much say and do whatever it is that you want. And I don't think that people truly appreciate this country. Now people are trying to say that they appreciate the country in a way simply because a lot of their friends and their family is getting deported, and so they expect for you to feel sorry for them. But this is truly the greatest country on earth, man. I don't know why y'all raging liberals hate this country so much. Like, if y'all don't want to be here, why don't you start taking steps to deport yourself, to move over into another country? Like, nobody is ever complaining about a person moving permanently to another country, seeking dual citizenship, renouncing their United States of America citizenship, and just living off the land that y'all love so much in your home country. Some of you guys keep saying, and not just you guys, you ladies keep talking about where you from and your origin and all of this stuff. I don't know why y'all don't trace your origin back and then go and make that great again. Why aren't people trying to make their own countries great? Why aren't you moving outside of the United States of America? I seen, what was her name? Alyssa Milano. She kept talking about how she gonna move. How come she ain't packed her bags yet? I know Ellen DeGenerate allegedly moved out of the United States of America, but then we don't know if she moved out because of Diddy or what. But I know that Ellen DeGeneres, her house is all tore up wherever she was, but she stole a lot of money. She was never supposed to be as popular as she is. She was absolutely a DEI pick, if you ask me. If you look back on Ellen DeGenerate was 100% a DEI pick. Her show was a DEI show. And in the minute that people started complaining about it, they got it off the air ASAP. Why don't they go and make their country great? How come they not protesting their own government? These Mexicans that are protesting in Los Angeles and these other states, why aren't they holding their leaders accountable? How come they not over in Mexico saying we need to get this together and no more corruption and get rid of the cartels and allow for us to be able to build the economy and have good trade with other countries? And instead of people using us and China taking advantage of us, we need to make this country great again. How come they not doing that? How come they're not doing it? I just want to know. I would love to know that. Why do people love being in this country so much, but they hate it so much at the same time? How come every time a person votes for Trump, they automatically say that you're racist, even if you're black? How come when somebody say they agree with Trump, then you automatically become racist or you become a sellout? Why aren't the sellouts the people that do all of the worst things to the community? Just curious. Why aren't the sellouts the people that do all of the worst things to the community? So I sell out because I go to school, take care of my business, and take care of my family. You keep it real because you sell dope. And so we all on some, you know what I'm saying, keeping it real, yo, BMF, all of this type of stuff. How did you become the good guy and then I become the villain? And I'm not saying me personally, I'm a representation of it, but how come the people that do the good things become the villain? And I'm just asking a lot of the questions that some of us, including myself, may think about on some, occasionally. Why are we, think about this for a minute. How come we are for diversity, equity, and inclusion, just not when it actually comes from people that got a different opinions? So diversity, equity, and inclusion only works if I agree with you. You see how that works? Like, we're not tolerant of other people's opinions if they're black in the community unless they actually align with what you say. So we don't have diversity of opinion. I can't have equity inside of the conversation. Then you definitely don't include me because you don't want to hear what I say. We don't want representation in the Republican Party, for example, from black people, because then you are a sellout. But we want representation in everything. We just don't want it when it comes from a difference of opinion or a different view than ours. Does that make sense? So you're inclusive for everything that you agree with, just not the things that you don't agree with. Why don't they want representation? I thought y'all said y'all wanted more black people inside of the Trump administration. How come you don't want more representation in the Republican Party? So you're not tolerant of my views because it's different than yours, but you think that we need representation and equity in everything. Am I off here? Because I understand that I'm a C student and I speak from a C student's perspective, but I'm just trying to break this down of how hypocritical people are when it comes to the things that they disagree with. I'm supposed to be open to your perspective, but the minute that I say something, you call me out of my name and you call me the C word, which we don't care. We don't care. And I don't like extreme on either side. But the one thing that I do love is I love this country. I love it with everything in my heart. I genuinely do. I don't look at myself as an African American. That is a way for you to divide. I don't think you should look at yourself as a white American or an Asian American or a Mexican American. We don't care about y'all heritage. The only thing we care about is American values and winning. The only team that we should be on is the American team, even if we have differences of opinion. Right? That's real diversity, equity, and inclusion, is that we got differences of opinion, but we all want this country to win. But there's some bad actors and some people that really want this country to burn down while they at the same time benefit from what goes on inside of this country. All of the things that you denounce, you benefit from it. I see people that always say that white people are the devil, but then they make sure that they get up and they go to work every day and work for their boss, and they'll never say it to his face. They'll never say it to his face. I look at those dudes, I call them baby mamas. Those are baby mamas. It is. Those are baby mamas. Because they always going to complain about their baby daddies, but they definitely laid down and had sex with him. They always complaining about him, but they gave him 2 kids. How you going to complain about the dude that gave you kids? The same people that complain about the people that oversee this country are the very ones that need jobs. They want a bank loan from the very bank that they denounce. They want to participate in a system and they want equity in a system that they say is holding black people down. Why do you want to participate in a system that you denounce? Because you don't really not like the system. You just don't like the fact that you wasn't able to participate because you made some bad decisions. oh man, student loans is broken. No, your decision-making ability is broken. You want the guardrails to prevent you from being able to take out more than you were supposed to take out but then at the same time, you want the freedom to do what you want to do because you was leaving mama's house and you need freedom. So you decided to sign the papers, you decided to take out the student loans, and now you don't want to pay it back. And now it becomes everybody else's responsibility to pay back your student loans. How does that work? You don't like your kids, but you laid down and let somebody skeet in you. How does that work? You know what I'm saying? Like, this country is awesome. Everything about it. It's got some flaws. Sometimes it could be ugly. The history and the past of it could be a little bit dark. But at the same time, it's an awesome, every single country got a dark past and a dark history behind it. But I love it. I love everything about it. I love everything about this country. It ain't perfect, but that's why we got to fix it. That's why we got to keep working at it. That's why we got to make America great again, because we have to do the thing for our children and make it better for them than it was for us. As awesome as it is right now, we have a golden opportunity. We have a golden opportunity to run up one of the craziest bags in history. Don't be a fumbler to the point to where, listen to me closely. Don't be a fumbler. One of the things that I think and disappoint me so much about the guys from the past and the people in history is that our fathers and our grandfathers were technically at that time at the greatest point in history. They had the unions. They had an unprecedented amount of money. They made the bag. They had pensions. They had 401ks. They had family. They had more freedom than ever before. They could move how they wanted to move and run up a check like never. They had more opportunity for home ownership than any time in history, and they fumbled. Instead of them making it better for the generations to come, they sold off, they sold out, they burned down their own houses and their own neighborhoods. They had the 67 riots. It didn't take but for one man to die for y'all to tear up and burn up every single street with his name on it. You burned your businesses. You let big corporations come in and take over all of the mom and pop spots. You complained about it. You then got on drugs and started sniffing crack and cocaine. You sold it to your people, and then we start glorifying it in the form of rap music. And then we think that we got a phenomenal culture that we need to leapfrog off of. We can't be like them. We got to be different. We have to look at the things that they did yesterday, learn from it, and capitalize off of it. The information is out there. We can't keep gauging ourselves based off of people that ain't even winning themselves. White people are suffering just as much as black people. 100%. I see white liberal women on the internet complaining about their lot in life. They complain about student loans that they took out. They complain about being baby mamas that they became. They complain about being on Section 8 and getting kicked off. I can't believe it. I was just so amazed. I said, y'all got all of these programs. Y'all hijacked the civil rights movement. Y'all hijacked the feminist movement. You hijacked every single movement to then get a leg up, but yet you still only this much ahead of everybody else. That is dusty. It's amazing to me when I see a white woman, for example, and I'm just going to keep it real with you. When I see a white woman complaining about her lot in life, I have no sympathy for you at all whatsoever. You raging liberals, you white women, you white men that sit there with your eyes bulged out, with your meth head and meth teeth, and you sitting there complaining about your lot in life, and you then dye your hair pink and purple and think that that's going to make you a part of a group because you decide that you want a scissor kick and become a lesbian. You think that we're supposed to value you more? You had everything. You had everything. At this point, going forward, there is no more excuses for anybody not to meet the expectation of what greatness is supposed to be. You had an opportunity and you missed it. And then we so dumb that we'll sit there and gauge ourselves against a white system. It ain't even a white system. It's an economic system. And that's why it's a class war. And if you really started to gauge yourself against the people that were winning, you will realize that they're not even the ones that's at the top of the totem pole. They don't even control nothing. They got access to the same amount of information as you. They got access to the same systems. Nobody. I'm not giving nobody a pass. I'm not giving nobody a pass. Black, white, Asian, Mexican, Hispanic, Latino. Nobody is getting a pass no more. Nobody is getting a pass. We all got to make sure that our lot in life and take care of it. If your ancestors and your grandfather and your father got you living on Section 8 and you poor, that is, hold them accountable. Don't get mad at everybody else. That's your fault. That's your fault. I'm not going to take nobody and let them gaslight me into thinking that this country ain't great. You had the greatest opportunity in the world and you sucked up for it and you left your household and you let everybody fumble the bag for you. That's your fault. It's over. It's over for you. And so it's 1,700 new millionaires made every day inside of the United States of America. That's a fact. It's 1,700 new millionaires every day made inside of the United States of America. It's no excuse. We are about to go. If you looking at this as a sign of duress, it's an opportunity. It's no more handouts. That's over. No affirmative action, no diversity, equity, and inclusion that mainly white women benefited from but couldn't capitalize off of it. No more hand ups. Everybody got to stand on their own 2 feet, sink or swim. Winners get the spoils. Losers work for the winners. And winners are the ones that rewrite history. That's it. That's the way that it's going to go. Either you're going to win or you're going to lose. It ain't no in between. Ain't no gray area. Ain't none of that no more. Make sure you join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. Let's run up a bag, y'all. Let me read some of these super chats and we're going to get on up out of here for the day. Let y'all go. Anton's final thoughts. We got that in there. France. I appreciate you, France. Says, hey, Anton, will you be at the Les Ranch show in Philadelphia in March? I don't know. I got to figure that out. I just got the dates the other day, so I got to figure out what my schedule look like. I will let you guys know if and when I'm going to be popping up at the shows, but don't let that stop you from going to the show. I'm not going to be the one that make the show. I'm just going to be a contributor if I show up at the show. All right? Don't let that deter you from going if I do go or if I don't go. Jim Short, but I'll let y'all know if and what dates I'm going to be at. Jim Short says Quentin on street interviews would be hilarious. We got to get Quentin on them street interviews. We got to send him out to LA, y'all. Champion Chuck, I might be in LA this weekend. But only if the ladies pop out. That's the only time I'm coming to LA. The only reason I will be coming to LA is if the ladies pop out this weekend. If the ladies pop out and accompany me on my street interviews, and I'll come out to LA this weekend. Cali almost turned into a red state in these past elections. We are fed up with the crap as well. Hopefully the recent fires should be a breaking point. Shout out to you. Marquita Robinson says, I'm a flight attendant. Pray for us. We not okay. Oh, I'm praying for you, Marquita. Let me get my claps up for Marquita. I love you, Marquita. Abe the Hunter says, you are different from me. As president, I would just take everyone to Mexico. See, we got to have some level heads. Cynthia Miller says he's too feminine to look tough. Facts. Too feminine. No hood rats allowed with Goth Batty says, I tell you why, because they move over here, have their children, and imagine all of them sending money back home to Mexico. It's a business. That's a fact. That is the truth. Abe the Hunter, shout out to you, says, did you hear, HEAR, did you hear our president say he will be going after our own criminals and sending them to other countries? I think that should work. They should go to work to Africa and mines to free up that child labor over there. No, I ain't heard nothing about that. You're going to have to send me that video. Night J says the Democratic plantation is a cult they can't see. We going to free him now. Latrell M in the building says, I think the genetically modified people like to hear themselves talk and not take action to better their lives. Well, we just going to separate the real from the fake. Mr. Joe says, lost a few friends because I refuse to affirm the black victimhood trope. I refuse to be a victim. That's phenomenal for you, big dog. No Hood Rats Allowed says, inflation always at its lowest while you're alive. Everyone is so doom and gloom. We love capitalism. Most don't know how to play the game. Well, I'm going to teach you inside of the Patreon. Make sure y'all join. Bishop Frank Dr. Newkirk says, house divided, can't stand. Mercy, mercy. Teshuva, I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold me down. Man, let me just double check one more thing to make sure that we all are acknowledged. And shout out to Brandon Diamond Select. Says, my mom met you and said that you all talk. Oh, yeah, shout out to your mom. Shout out to your mom that I met over the weekend. She was an awesome woman. She seen me counting them bands up, though, Diamond Select Jewelry. I heard that you a jeweler out here in these streets. We're going to have to talk. Make sure y'all hit me up, y'all. Listen, y'all. Before we get out of here, I want to let y'all know that the best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. We got the Q show tonight. That should be lit. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but Q is going to curate that for us. But the best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley is a phenomenal product. I use it every single day. I love it. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. And it's going to be a great week. I might pull up in LA this weekend. We'll see. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.